Action!
Så hun sidder der med barnet fast, det kommer til at tage lang tid, det der barn.
Well, the story of the film is about Daniel. He's he's a young photographer, and he in the scenes we're shooting today, and we're going to shoot by the Dead Sea tomorrow. He goes to Mogadishu in Somalia with an older photographer that teaches him the trade, and that gives him the courage to himself to go into Syria to try to portray the civil war.
So he's lying down.
Okay. Can I get rain jackets off the extras, please?
And I'm playing Daniel Rye, who's a photographer. He's a real person who went to Syria in 2013 to report on the locals and the civilians and how they live their life when there's a war going on. Then he went down there, but he was captured by the Islamic State, and he was held prisoner for a year until he was bought free from his family, funded the money to get him free. So he was there for 13 months. I kind of got into the personality of Daniel because in, of course, researching as you do as an actor and talking a lot to Daniel, reading the book. It's a book we're filmatizing. Yeah, and then reading a lot of stories about, kidnappings and what's going on and why Daniel wanted to go down there, because he wasn't really interested in taking photos of the war. He was interested in meeting the local people and see how a civil war affects normal people, because it could happen everywhere. So he wanted to kind of bring that story to Denmark.
Action rehearsal!
I also play the character of Arthur, who's trying to get Daniel out of Syria. And there's only 20 people in the world have this job as Arthur have. And he was also looking for James Foley before Daniel got captured. So then he was looking for James Foley, and then he should look for Daniel Rye, and suddenly he find out that they were sitting together. So
when you're quoting me for saying nobody's born evil, I think that applies to everyone. And I think that in our film we are portraying the character that was known as Jihad John. That was not his real name, of course. And we do have an interesting arc in him. And definitely we see insecurity, we see small pieces of what has made him the way he was. Anders and I had a very, very interesting experience. We went to London to cast those foreign fighters that went from England. That Jihad John was one of them. And a lot of the young guys coming in for casting, the young actors, had gone to school with the real John. And it was certainly interesting to hear what he went through earlier, So I definitely think that when people, and I wouldn't say become evil, but when they gain the capacity to do evil things, it is very much from the environment, from emotional things that happens to them that goes wrong. I think that's an important lesson for this world to know.
Just to say, I am one of the two producers of the film. My name is Morten Kaufmann, and I'm producing this film together with my partner, Signe Like, who's in Denmark. The reason for being in Jordan is the story takes place in Syria and Turkey, and a big part of the story takes place there. And we needed something that looked like Syria, something that looked like Turkey, because we are not allowed to travel there by now because of the war. So we had a lot of investigations and traveled to Morocco and to Spain, but coming to Jordan was like, here we are. This is where we are going to shoot it. That was obvious from the moment we came here. The other countries that we looked at was in fact Spain and Morocco, but Spain was we needed to do too much in order to make it look like Syria, and Morocco was pink. So it was, there wasn't the colors that we needed. We needed colors that are in Jordan.
All right, come on, come on, come on.
Stå og bede om noget make-up og bare overkrop og sådan noget.
Vi har ikke nogen ord. And cut! Cut!
Altså,
And once the camera goes into the house, once the camera's in here, she can just stay out there.
خلاص أول ما الكاميرا تعدي.
Well, I think when, the determining element for us to decide to shoot in Jordan was two things. It's a beautiful country. It has a very, it's very similar to what Syria looked right before the war broke out. There's very, very good crews here. And the crew speaks English, so in that sense, it seemed to us like an easy and good place to come and shoot that part of the film, and it has worked out really well.
Dealing with the Jordanian crew, we've been extremely happy. It's a high professional people doing their utmost in order to make us able to do the film. I think we are 19 people from Scandinavia coming down here, and I think we are about 60 people from Jordan in order to make the full film crew.
It's a very interesting place for us coming from North Europe. It's very exotic, and I think we're getting an amazing production value.
Yeah.
We of course are not shooting for the traditional tourist places like Petra and other, like we are shooting for the real Syria. We're like, we have shot a lot in, if I say it right, Sarga. Yeah, and we have shot in the Palestinian refugee camp up in Irbid. Yeah, so the desert we have shot in. So I think we've gotten footage from Jordan that the crews that normally comes here would not get, even what we're shooting today also. So I think that Jordan offers a variety of very, very cool places for this film that gives us great production value.
Jordan has just been the most welcoming country, and everybody's been sweet and nice, and everywhere we go to shoot, people have just welcomed us with open arms, so that's been a real joy. And I always wanted to go to Jordan but never had the chance really, so this was, for me personal, it's been a very, very big experience.